Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're digging deep into artificial intelligence. We're going to pull back the curtain, go way beyond the code and the marketing hype to look at the real-world impact of AI. And we're using Kate Crawford's incredible book, Atlas of AI, as our map. Get ready, because you're about to see your digital world in a whole new way. You know, when we talk about AI, we usually picture something like this. Totally clean, abstract, almost weightless. It's just code, right? Floating around in the cloud, working its magic behind the scenes. But what if that whole picture isn't just a little bit off? What if it's a carefully crafted illusion?
Well, this is the book's central argument, and it's a real bombshell. AI is neither artificial nor intelligent. So what on earth does that mean? Well, it's not artificial because it's built from very real, very finite materials ripped from the planet, and it's built by a staggering amount of human labor. And it's not intelligent in the way you and I are. It's a system designed to do one thing: classify and predict based on the mountains of data we feed it.
So let's start with that first hidden cost, the massive toll AI takes on our planet. Because here's the thing, AI doesn't come from the cloud. It comes straight out of the earth.
To really get this, you have to start thinking of the entire AI industry as a technology of extraction. It extracts raw materials from the ground, it extracts cheap labor from people all over the world, and as we'll see, it extracts data from every corner of our lives. And it does all this for corporate profit, while the true costs to the environment, to our communities, they're just swept under the rug.
And this creates such a jarring contrast, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the glossy, polished image of Silicon Valley, this engine of incredible wealth and innovation. But the story of that technology actually begins in places like the lithium mines in Nevada, with environmental damage and the draining of precious resources. All that tech glitter is literally built on the grit of the earth.
And the scale of this planetary price tag is just staggering. We're talking about an insatiable appetite for minerals and water. We're talking about huge swaths of land being used, sometimes displacing entire communities. And then there are the mountains of toxic e-waste left behind when our gadgets die. This isn't some side effect. This is the physical, hidden reality of our digital lives.
Okay, so AI is physical, but it's also profoundly human. And that brings us to the second big secret. The idea that AI is all about automation? That's a myth. You see, behind every smart device, there's a massive, often invisible human supply chain. It starts with miners, often working in dangerous conditions to get the raw materials. Then it moves to factory workers assembling the hardware. Then you have millions of people, a ghost workforce, doing something called data annotation, basically teaching the AI what it's seeing for pennies. And at the very end of the line, you have content moderators who filter out the most toxic, horrific material online to keep the platforms we use clean.
So this idea that AI is this autonomous, independent thing, it's just not true. It's an illusion. And it's an illusion that only works by making all of that essential human work, the difficult, the boring, the emotionally scarring stuff, completely invisible to us, the end users. It's not magic. It's just hidden labor.
And this right here should completely change how we think about what powers AI. We're all obsessed with the algorithms, right? The fancy code. But look, that's actually the smallest piece of the pie. The real engine of AI is the pile of raw materials taken from the planet, and even bigger than that, the massive amount of human labor needed to build it, train it, and keep it running. So we have this gigantic system of extraction, taking materials from the earth and labor from people. But to what end? What's it all for? Well, that brings us to the third layer, the politics of power. This is all about data, classification, and ultimately control.
There's a powerful term for this: data colonialism. Think about it. Just like old-school colonialism extracted resources like cotton or gold from lands for profit, data colonialism extracts a new kind of resource: data. From our lives, our bodies, our communities. Every click, every like, every photo you post, it becomes raw material to be mined, often without us really understanding what we've agreed to.
The chilling part is that we might be witnessing what Crawford calls the end of consent. I mean, between the impossibly long terms of service nobody reads and the complex, opaque ways our data is shared, the very idea that we can give meaningful consent is, well, it's pretty much fading away.
And let's just make this personal for a second. Ask yourself this. The last time you clicked "I agree," did you honestly realize you were signing up to be an unpaid worker?
That your everyday actions online were going to be used as a training set for a commercial AI model? Because that's what's happening.
So how does this actually play out? This is how bias gets baked into these systems. If you feed an AI bias data from the past, say a ton of resumes from a field that was historically dominated by men, the AI doesn't see the bias. It just learns, oh, okay, a successful candidate looks like this. And what's the result? It starts automatically downgrading qualified female candidates. The AI doesn't just find these old, ugly patterns, it reinforces them and turns them into automated high-speed rules for the future.
And it isn't just companies using these powerful tools. They're becoming fundamental instruments of state power. We're talking about mass surveillance, predictive policing that sends more cops into certain neighborhoods, and algorithms that have a say in life and death decisions, from who gets welfare to who gets targeted by a drone.
And this really gets to the core of it all. AI is never, ever a neutral tool. Crawford calls it a registry of power. It's a system that reflects, codes, and then massively amplifies the values and the interests of the very small group of powerful people, the corporations and governments who have the money and power to build it.
So, where does all this leave us? It leads to a final reckoning, a confrontation with the ultimate tech fantasy, the fantasy of escape.
You've probably seen the headlines. Some of the very billionaires who have built this new world are now dreaming of an exit. They're funding private space travel, building luxury bunkers in New Zealand, basically trying to find a way to escape the very planetary crises they've helped create.
But let's be clear, these aren't real solutions. These exit fantasies, as Crawford calls them, are really a profound failure of imagination. They're a rejection of the idea that we have a shared responsibility to take care of our planet and each other. It's an attempt to just opt out.
So this puts us at a clear fork in the road. On one path, there's the fantasy, this idea that technology will let a few people escape from all our problems. And on the other path is the reality for the rest of us, a collective, shared reckoning with the consequences of the systems we've built.
Because for the vast, vast majority of us, there is no rocket ship. There is no exit. So we're left with a really critical question. Now that we know the true costs, the environmental cost, the human cost, the political cost, what is our role now? What is our part in demanding an AI that is more just, more accountable, and actually sustainable for the one planet we all have to share?